Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are completely breaking down a wellness myth that's honestly been dominating the industry for a decade now. Look, we've all been sold the exact same story, right? If you want boundless vitality, you just need to buy more expensive superfoods. We're constantly told that endless energy is just, one goji berry or green powder away. But what if I told you that some of the most celebrated health foods out there are actually what we call energy vampires? They aren't giving you life at all. They are quietly borrowing it from your future self. So in this explainer, we're going to look right past those flashy marketing labels, dive directly into the peer-reviewed science, and expose this superfood mirage once and for all. Have you ever just stopped and asked yourself this? It is such an incredibly frustrating experience. You're trying so hard to do everything right with your diet. You're buying the expensive organic snacks, you're grabbing those highly marketed wellness drinks, and yet you're still suffering from that midday brain fog. You're still dealing with those absolutely brutal afternoon crashes. So why is it that putting seemingly clean fuel into your body is making you feel like you're running on completely empty? Well, the answer really lies in this stark contrast right here. On one side, we have the marketing promises, words like vitality and boundless energy just plastered across beautiful, aesthetic packaging. But on the flip side, we have the biological reality of how your body actually processes these foods. Instead of giving you endless energy, these specific items are silently draining you. They're causing massive insulin crashes and that heavy brain fog. So we're going to expose the three biggest culprits behind this massive disconnect. Okay, let's dive right into this. Vampire number one. The liquid gold myth. Yup, I'm talking about cold-pressed green juice. It looks like concentrated life in a bottle, but it's secretly a massive trap because of one crucial missing thing: fiber. Fiber is essentially the speed limit for your metabolism, and here is the science the wellness industry tends to conveniently ignore. When you juice a vegetable or a piece of fruit, you completely strip away its structural fiber. Without that structural fiber acting as a metabolic speed limit, those natural sugars and nutrients don't digest slowly. Instead, they hit your bloodstream all at once, literally like a freight train. And the peer-reviewed science absolutely backs this up. According to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, liquid calories simply do not trigger the same satiety signals in your body as solid food does. Because all that fiber is gone, your blood sugar just rockets upwards. So despite whatever the marketing label says, you aren't actually detoxing your body when you drink a cold-pressed juice. You are putting your pancreas on a highly dangerous roller coaster. Let's track exactly how this sabotage plays out in real time. So at 0 minutes, you drink that expensive green juice. Great. At the 20-minute mark, your blood sugar has rocketed up and you get this artificial energy glow. You feel amazing, you feel healthy. But remember, because there was no fiber to pace that sugar absorption, your body panics and releases a massive insulin spike to compensate. Which leads us to the 90-minute mark. Exactly an hour and a half after drinking that juice, you hit a devastating crash. Your energy just plummets. Your body fundamentally requires a slow, sustained burn of energy to get through the day. It doesn't need a flash fire that burns out an hour and a half later, leaving you completely exhausted and reaching for, you guessed it, another quick fix. So here is the actionable solution. If the trap is juicing, which creates that sudden flash fire of sugar, the swap is surprisingly simple and incredibly effective. Just switch to blended whole foods. Make a smoothie instead of a juice so you keep the pulp and that crucial structural fiber intact. Or, honestly, simply eat the greens whole. This guarantees that your energy is released as a steady, slow burn, giving you that actual, lasting vitality you were looking for in the first place. Moving right along to energy vampire number 2, the Agave Trap. Now, what's really interesting about this is if you look at almost any healthy snack bar today, it usually claims to be a low glycemic miracle sweetened with agave nectar. But let's look at agave's actual chemical composition. It's often made up of 70 to 90% pure fructose. To put that in perspective for you, that is actually a higher fructose content than high-fructose corn syrup. Let that sink in for a second. This supposedly healthy alternative is a literal fructose bomb. So why is that such a huge problem? Well, it's because of how our biology works. Glucose is a type of sugar that every single cell in your entire body can readily use for energy. But fructose can only be processed by your liver. When you consume these superfood sweeteners, you're sending a massive, highly concentrated payload of fructose straight to one single organ. Overloading your liver like this triggers a really dangerous biological reaction called de novo lipogenesis. It's a fancy term, but basically, this is your liver taking that overwhelming amount of sugar and converting it directly into fat. And that fat causes systemic inflammation throughout your entire body. Inflammation is a massive, silent energy drain. So if you've ever eaten a huge, supposedly clean acai bowl sweetened with agave and wondered why you feel so incredibly heavy and sluggish 2 hours later, this right here. This is the biological reason why.
So we definitely need to escape the agave trap. The swap here is super easy and way kinder to your liver. Just use small amounts of whole fruits like dates to sweeten your food, or use raw honey, which actually contains beneficial digestive enzymes that help your body process it naturally. Or better yet, we can all just practice training our palates to enjoy the natural, unsweetened flavors of our food.
All right, this brings us to our third and final energy vampire, raw nut overload.
We hear it all the time, right? Massive bags of raw nuts are the perfect grab-and-go brain food, but they hide a really crucial puzzle piece: phytic acid. Raw nuts and seeds contain very high levels of this acid alongside enzyme inhibitors. Think about it from the plant's perspective for a minute. This is their natural defense mechanism. They don't want to be digested. They want to pass right through you intact so they can grow. So these mechanisms are actively working against human digestion.
When you consume large amounts of raw, untreated nuts, that phytic acid enters your digestive tract and acts like a literal thief. It actively binds to essential minerals, specifically zinc, calcium, and iron, and completely prevents your body from absorbing them. You think you're eating this super nutrient-dense snack, but the food is actively stealing minerals right out of your system. Let's connect the dots here. How does stealing minerals affect your day-to-day energy? Well, it comes down to ATP production. That is the actual energy currency of your cellular biology. If your supposedly clean food is robbing you of zinc, calcium, and iron, your cells quite literally lack the raw materials needed to produce ATP. This means snacking on raw nuts all day could be the exact biological reason you are experiencing chronic fatigue.
Now, you don't have to give up nuts to fix this. You just have to stop eating the raw ones that drain you. The simple swap here is to look for sprouted or activated nuts. The process of soaking the nuts completely neutralizes that phytic acid. It basically turns off the plant's defense mechanism, meaning the energy and all those vital minerals actually become bioavailable to your body.
So where does this leave us? The ultimate solution? Biological stability. Look, the wellness industry wants you to believe that true health is expensive and super complicated. They want you buying the specialized super version of absolutely everything. But as we've clearly seen from the science today, real energy doesn't come from a miracle powder, a processed syrup, or an unactivated seed. It comes from biological stability. To get that sustained energy and stop these marketing vampires from draining your day, just remember our 3 core lessons. First, focus on whole fibers. Stop stripping away your metabolic speed limit. Second, avoid fructose overloads. Protect your liver from systemic inflammation by ditching the agave. And third, prepare your plant foods properly. Soak your nuts to unlock their actual nutritional value. Honestly, once you understand the biological reality behind these foods, you just can't unsee the marketing tricks. Which leaves us with a pretty critical question to end on today. What other energy vampires do you think are currently hiding out in your pantry? I highly encourage you to start questioning the labels on your clean foods and take back control of your biological energy. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.